So I am going to try and get my point across here. Oh, it's a bit of a difficult one, but I feel like it's a really important point, and it's a topic that comes up a lot for me. So I'll just muck around with this video a little bit here, but see, I am mucking around with we'll call it Mick for the sake of the exercise here. It's me trying to get into his legs there. He had super strong legs. Um, Actually, I'll just hang on. I'll play this back from the start. This was a role that we'd had a couple of roles previously, and then we're just at an open map. So we have, and then we have this kind of role. We're doing like 5 minute rounds of a minute break. We do like heaps. I think we do about 9 rounds here. And I kind of wanted to make a point of how I like to just roll nicely with people, and how I also like to make sure I am working on my individual things. And when the subject that kept on coming up was what's like a really hard role. So Mick is a really strong dude, like a lot stronger than I am, and you can see that I can barely get underneath his legs because he can just kind of squeeze his knees together, compress my body, and jump out of that position there. It's a super strong dude. So whenever he holds on to anything, it's like a vice. And this topic was like, going hard and how that risks injuries or doesn't risk injuries, or and being strong and fit for jujitsu, and how you can have like the hardest round. So we'd had a couple of rounds where I'd gone pretty easy. And now this round, I kind of said to him, well, I'm only going to ramp it up a bit, but I'll keep moving like fairly slow, just so that you can work on what you're working on, and I'll take any kind of submissions that are kind of there, but I'm not going to go super hard. So this is, kind of like, defending a triangle there, a little bit of chase in the back, a little bit of that thing. But after we have this role, what I do is, because he's like, well, then how do you cultivate that kind of rolling within yourself? He's done quite a lot of MMA, and he's be like a decent level of blue belt. And he's like, well, I feel like I'm quite stuck in this idea of like, I need to roll really hard. How would you do it? So I'm like, okay, how I would do it is, the only real way to do it is to actually roll in the way that you want your students to roll. You just need to be it needs to come from you. So if you want people to roll really smooth, fast, and flowy, and you believe that the way to do that is to actually start moving with minimal strength and minimal speed, and then ramp that up over time as your technique and your ability and your trust in your training partner increases, then that's what if that's what you believe, then that's what how you have to roll with your students. So here, this role kind of goes on a little bit more. He tries to get a head and arm. Obviously, I've no problems defending that or the mount. Oh, we're kind of off the screen a bit here, so I think we move back into the front. I scrub through. Yeah, no, no, still off the screen. A little bit more chase in the back, and ooh, shrugs me off the armbar there. No dramas. And so when we finish this round, I actually say, okay, well, what I'm going to do is I'll roll with, I'll just move slowly and methodically. And I won't increase my speed, and I won't increase my strength, and demonstrate to you exactly what I should mean. So if you've got students and you think that they roll too hard, and that is actually inhibiting that fast, flowy kind of explosive jujitsu. Think CJI one with Tackett and Rotolo. See that match. If you roll really stiff and rigid from the time you're a blue belt, you'll never get that explosive kind of fast, awesome scrambles. So in here, Mick doesn't know it yet, but I'm going to make him do. Well, I wanted to go 3 rounds, but we did. But we actually go here for 2 rounds, so 11 minutes, so 5 minutes all through the minute break. And so this is exactly what I'm talking about. Hardly any strength, moving really slowly, and then he's like, "Oh, easy submission." So he's still going fairly strong, and I'm like, "Yeah, that's not the point." And also, when they, if you get a submission when you're rolling like this, you don't actually fight out of it because it's training, right? You just kind of release the move. You should get your training partner to let you just get straight out of the move. You can see, oh, actually, I'll scrub this back a little bit to where he was there. So, boom, he gets the move, and see, I'm not really. I just try to jack my hips up to forwards roll. Then I get the moves. And see how he wants to let it go. I'm like, no, keep it, and then just let me escape, so that you can then get used to. If the submission didn't quite work, you're ready to immediately scramble after it. And if you only ever roll really tight and strong, then you get a submission and you reset. You're never getting that proper scrambling moves. Scrambles basically are at a high level is submission after submission after submission after submission, but that are both getting defended. So it's both people trying hard to defend and attack at the same time and never really getting either of them. So yes, me more ending up on the correct bottom here. Let's just move through this till yes. So obviously you can just see there before, no problems defending head and arm triangles unless they're really, really good. But if I'm not going to use much strength, and see, I immediately pulled him up there. I'm like, no, 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 don't just drop. Feel where I go, and then chase me from there. Kind of, as you can see, he's not quite getting the point. So I actually wanted him to chase and get onto my back so that he could do that, but that didn't quite work out. So I get to chase his back, and yeah, what you can see is I'm moving on, like I'm just kind of slowly and methodically working on like chasing his back, that kind of thing working on like cross body control there to maintain the back, give him a little bit of something to work with. But as he can, well, as it'll become evident as we go through this round, you'll see that I don't get even slightly puffed because I'm not moving fast. And you can see this anaconda here would be no dramas for me to finish that. Like I've got my hand all the way through, but I'm like, you're going to try really hard. Fine, you get to go out and you can go on the offensive there. Perfect, awesome. Let's just screw, yeah, a little bit of a front headlock, kind of a scramble. He keeps his elbows tight, so I don't really get to sit out, but I get to catch his knee, pull him over, and rather than just yeah, a little bit of more guard work. And I think we've been going now for about 5 minutes, and we just kind of finished the last roll. And I said, right, sweet, let's just go straight into this because I didn't want it to be about strength and cardio. So you can see at this point, he's kind of like, oh, okay. So you were just cruising and going methodically. And now because I was actually trying hard, it's not, you're actually like going on the offensive here with me, but I'm not actually trying to get submissions. And if I get to any areas where I could get a submission or even control a position, I'll just try different controls in those areas so that the roll keeps on flowing. Realistically, it should be, we should be able to do rolls like this for, I'm gonna scrub through, should be able to do rolls like this for like, half an hour or so, where we just keep going and going and going. We roll through our positions, any submissions that happen, we just keep on going with the goal in mind of, especially when it's no gi, it should just mostly be like a backwards and forwards scramble. And when somebody like holds a half guard position for a bit, it's like, I just need to catch my breath a little bit. And it is quite hard to really demonstrate this. And if you've got like powerful people that have a decent idea of wrestling and jujitsu, it's very hard to demonstrate it. But like that's why I wanted to have this role here with Mick, where I'm just like, look, I'm just going to chip along and go nice and slow, and then after, say, I think we're at about like 10 minutes or so into this round, I'm like, yeah, look, you. Well, let's if you're doing this with somebody at about that 10 minutes mark, if they've been going hard, they're not going to be able to use strength and cardio too much anymore. And you'll be able to work positions and different moves and flow around into the legs, use the legs to access the back. And it's by the end of it, it should start to look and feel how you want it to be right from the start. So if you're wondering, hey, how do I even do this? Basically, just put the timer on for half an hour, stay with that training partner, and keep rolling and rolling and rolling and rolling and keep moving for that whole half an hour. And you'll just kind of figure it out for yourself. Here, I wanted to try and slow it down and do it a little bit faster. So you can see that at the start in those first 3 or 4 minutes, he's like strength and athleticism is all over me moving slowly and methodically. But after that 10, 8, 9, 10 minute mark, even just slowly moving away, once the strength's burnt out, you can see that basically I get to move through whatever positions and stuff. I'm just going to scrub through this here because it's just me chasing his back and that kind of thing. But I hope you're kind of like getting the point of what I'm trying to talk about with hard roll. I get so many people telling me, "Oh, I just want to go hard and just roll really hard," and I'm like, "Yeah, when you're rolling, what you think is hard is not even a hard roll." So if you have a hard roll with somebody that's even like a decent blue belt, you should be stopping at the end of that roll and being like done. You should be extremely exhausted. And when somebody locks onto like a half guard position or something like that, it's just not a hard roll. But I think we're just about out of time here. So yeah,